So today is actually our very first, I'll say legit road trip in our new Volkswagen ID.4 we've had for a couple months. We just haven't really gone any long trips with it yet. So today we're heading from Southern California up to Santa Cruz, California. It looks like it's going to take us 2 stops to get there. And we left at, it was probably just north of 95%. We didn't quite get to 100% charge. And right now it looks like it says we have an estimated range of 232. It is a really windy day today, and we do have lots of hills to climb in the initial part. So our first stop's around Bakersfield, and so we'll see what the wind in the climb will do to the range, and we'll see how far we get and how far it says we have left based on that, and do all the metrics like we normally do, and join us on this experience. All right, so according to Apple Maps, we've got 3:06, not 3 hours, 3:06 arrival at our first stop. It'll take actually almost 3 hours, 2 hours and 51 minutes, 173 miles. So my quick, elementary school math, that should leave us somewhere around 60 miles of range remaining. So I'll be curious to see what it actually says once we do get there. We do have the Grapevine to go up through if you're familiar with Southern California at all. That's the I-5 stretch north of LA that goes up over the mountain. So we'll see what we do. All right, we've been in the climb up the Grapevine for a little bit, but now we're really starting to hit the big hills part of it, and we're down to 73 miles to go until our stop. We may have to do an interim stop for the restrooms, and right now, we'll see if we can get this a little bit. It says 150 miles of range estimated. In fact, as I was pushing the camera over there, it went from 153 to 150 pretty quickly. So once we get up to the top of the Grapevine, then we'll have the north side going downhill, at which point we should see the range shoot back up. And right now we're looking at 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour since we started it, and we've been driving for just over 2 hours and 102 miles so far, and an average speed of 51 miles an hour. All right, so we just got to the bottom of the north side of the Grapevine, right near Grapevine. And for reference, we are just about 4 miles from the big Y, where you can either go on I-5 or 99 towards Bakersfield. And just to give an idea of the variability of the estimated range, at the top of the Grapevine, at the kind of the peak of the hill, the highest I saw the estimated range at, the lowest, was about 83 or 84 before we started going back downhill. For the last maybe 5 or 6 minutes, we've been going downhill, and now it's already back up to saying 125. So that's a 40-mile difference in that estimated range. And right now, let's see, we're at 42%. A little under half of the battery. We've only got about 40 miles or so left to go. We're at 3.5, still at 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. So it's hard to really use that meter as a gauge for how far you have to go. So using the percentage is certainly a better estimate. So what I'd recommend, if you get an ID.4 or any EV, even a Tesla, is to be able to intelligently use the range, estimated range, or the guessometer as people call it, would be look at the percentage, charge it up to 90% or whatever you want to charge it to, and then make sure you have pick a destination, know that you have charging ability there, and just drive it, and then see how far you go based on the percentage that it gives, and then use that to generally be able to intelligently plan your trips on your car. Again, remembering that if it's going to be a net uphill drive, that you'll get a little less range. If it's going to be a net downhill drive, you're going to be you get more range out of it. And this leg of it, we knew we had quite a bit of uphill and then a little bit of a downhill. So I was curious to see what it would work out to be. And again, right now we've got 31 miles to go with an estimated range of 126 miles. So if that were to hold up, we'd actually get there with more than that 60-mile buffer that I was talking about when we started the trip. So in 30 miles, we'll check it out, see what we've got. We know that the next leg of this trip is generally flat. I'm pretty sure we're going to be on the 5 for pretty much the rest of the trip, I-5. So I'm not aware of any big hills or mountains that we have to climb on the next couple legs. So it should be a lot more accurate to gauge what that meter is going to read. So we'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so it says we have 91 miles of estimated range left. We're at 32%. Right now it's set to charge to 90%, but that's, we'll just charge what we need to. And so it's at 3.6 kilowatt or miles per kilowatt hour at 3 hours and 4 minutes. And the screen just went blank. So it's quite heavy and bulky, but get it lined up and we're in. And then we use the app to actually initiate the charge. It still says please plug in, but oh, there we go, connecting to the vehicle now. Let's see if I can wipe off some of the dust to see. Initiating charge. That is, really the only problem with using these fast chargers is unlike Tesla, it's not instantaneous. It takes a minute for it to connect and everything. So we're just still waiting. Okay, so it actually wanted us to move over from that one, so we moved next door. You can hear it whirring and making lots of noises. It's initiating the charge. Hopefully now this time it works. Oh, and now we're live. I don't even know if you can see the screen at all, but yep, it's got me and we're charging. Okay, so to give you an idea of why we just love road trips and EVs is, let me get a little closer to the sign here so we can make sure we can see it. At this particular Shell station that the Electrify America charger is at, here's gas prices. Again, I can't really tell if it's showing up on the screen, but just in case you can't see, the very, very top one right here, regular, is $5.29 a gallon, all the way down to premium or V-Power, which they call it, $5.49, so basically $5.50, and diesel is $5 a gallon, as opposed to whatever we would be paying at Electrify America. But with the lease, we actually got 3 years of free Electrify America DC fast charging. So it's actually free for us. And since we have not done a video yet featuring the car, let's introduce you to the ID.4. So we've got the Pro S model. Very nice car so far. It's Ashley's daily driver. So I don't drive it all that much. It's definitely very different from a Tesla. but the fact that it's both battery powered is excellent. All right, we're up to 64-ish, 65%. We're charging at 66 kilowatts right now, and it's only 90 miles to the next stop, and we have an estimated range of almost double that. So we're gonna go ahead and just cut it off here, unplug, and head on down to the next stop. So we made it to Harris Ranch, and hour 19, again, a real quick drive, 3.0 miles per kilowatt hour. So this drive was less efficient than the first leg. We went 88 miles, and it says we have 58 miles of range. It's not going to focus on there, left, which is less than we got to the last station with. And then this leg, they want us to charge up to about 90%, so we might be here a little bit longer than our last one, so it might actually be dark by the time we leave this one. All right, so we are plugged in, it's connecting, waiting to hear that loud sound. You can definitely see the screen better on this one. Oh, it's making noises, not the noise yet. Oh, it says charging. Let's look at the car again, it shows it green here. This, and again, this does seem to be kind of the thing with this. You can see we're actually co-located with a bunch of superchargers right here. And obviously that one you just plug in it and it does it automatically. So definitely, oh, I hear it whirring up on this one. So we're finally in business. So now we'll just hang out and wait. All right, and here's what it looks like inside. We're at 25% with estimated 67 miles. And it says it's charging at 7 miles a minute. So if we were to stay plugged in for an hour, that would be right around 420 miles, which this cannot get, so hopefully we shouldn't need an hour. All right, so the screen finally updated to show us the information. It's been charging for 2 minutes, state of charge 30%. Right now we're at 124 kilowatts. Energy delivered. It shows this kind of going up in real time. So pricing, should we need it, of course, ours is free with our charging plan for getting the car, but otherwise it would be 43 cents a kilowatt hour, and then they have idle fees after a 10-minute grace period, just like similar to Tesla supercharging, how they have idle fees as well. All right, so we're at 95%. That's where we're going to cut it off. Estimated range is, let's go this way, 239 miles. We have about 140 miles to go, so that's easy math. We'll know that right now we expect to get there, according to the car, with about 100 miles left of range, but we'll see what we actually get. All right, so we just got to the Seacliff Inn, and car here says 84 miles of range left estimated. We're at 33% and we left at 95%. So quick math, that's 72% that we used. 2 hours and 19 minutes at 3.0 miles per kilowatt hour. Not too bad, and we drove 139 miles, average of 61 miles an hour. And this last leg had quite a bit of different highway, mountain, and city driving. And one of the reasons we picked this hotel, not that is the only reason, is they happen to have 4 available charge points right on site. So we can plug in right here and charge while we are at the hotel. All right, so day 2 of the trip, good morning by the way, brings us to, you can see it, where's my finger? Right here, the mystery spot in Santa Cruz. I've been here before, he's never been here before, Ashley's never been here before, so it's really, really cool. There's a couple of these, I believe there's one in Oregon, there's one here in Santa Cruz. They have a story that goes with it, but it's really all just like optical illusions and line of sight kind of tricks that are really awesome. All right, here is the entrance to the mystery spot. It's so crazy being up here versus down in Southern California. It's just so quiet out here. So if it sounds like I'm talking quietly, it's because I'm used to having to yell.
Which, has nothing to do with the mystery. I don't want to get you confused. We're seeing this happen because one direction sucks. I can still be lying. There could be a small motor in there. We could be doing this with magnets. Harry Styles could have a solo career. I have no idea. But I have some water with me, so I'm going to do something special for everybody. And I'm just going to pour one out for my homie. This is for you, Maurice! Oh, you're still recording. Hello, my name is Chris. I'm an actor. Please hire me. Inside the cabin, you guys. Hey, do it? Of course. Nice job. The heavier you'll feel it become. If you move it towards the center, the lighter you'll feel it become. Now, it's not magnetized or anything. It's actually made out of lead. You can't magnetize lead or lick it. But if you do, there are job applications in the gift store.
Exactly. That's also very true. Yeah. Yes. Look at you, buddy. All right. You want to hang on the bar? Yeah. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Like I feel like Inception.
Look at you! With great power comes great responsibility, okay, buddy?
I think that's the first time.
Yeah.
The reason is because I'm standing in front of this doorway. I noticed the doorways make
Step on the table.
normally, so you guys should try that as well. Now when we go back out in front of the I got something else to talk to you about, which is...
All right, so we decided to make it a mysterious day all around, and I can't actually film inside. Now they're making an announcement, but you can see the house behind me right now. That is the Winchester Mystery House, popularized by a movie that came out a few years ago, kind of like a fictional telling of the story of it. But basically it's Winchester, like Winchester rifles. And then we'll talk a little bit more about it after we get through. All right, so we're all done inside of the tour. Took about an hour, probably just a little more than an hour. And so we're outside now in one of the gardens. And actually, it almost looks like this here is kind of a heart shape. Hard to tell from the surface level here. But here's the actual front of the house. And as they explained on the tour, because we walked right by the front door over here, so let me wander over towards it. As nice and decorative as it was here, in the time that the house was being used, this door wouldn't really have been used much because all guests would show up, via carriage, through the carriage entrance, and there wasn't a whole lot of just walking up to front doors, like we're used to doing today. But you can just see the decorativeness and the ornate style of the house. And then here, let me turn around and show you. Obviously, when it was built, it was all alone, but we're literally just in the middle of the city now. So there's all kinds of modern buildings, including something being built right next to it right now. So basically, the general gist of the story is that once she moved out here, feeling she was plagued by the spirits of people killed by Winchester rifles, a medium told her that basically to kind of ward the spirits off were to build a house and never stop building. So it started off as an 8-room house and then got up to over 160 rooms, and it's humongous basically, and there's all kinds of weird things with doors that open to nowhere and the staircases that lead up to the ceiling and all kinds of, so there's so much rich history that you can go and look. But they did say, of course, since no records were really kept, a lot of it is from hearsay and presumption. All right, so as one example that we can actually see out here, you can kind of make out the sign at the bottom of it, but you can see that open door. It's just a door to nowhere. It opens up, there's no staircase to get there or anything. All right, so we headed back down towards Santa Cruz to Felton, and we are at the Henry Cowell Redwood State Park. So there's a couple different trails you can walk through. And so we're gonna go check out some of the, historic redwoods. All right, so right at the entrance to the trail, they've got a kind of like a cross section cut out of a tree, and you can see like right along here, basically little like markers, and it's showing how old and how you can use the ring. So the first one here says 1934 is when the tree fell. So let me come over to the very first one. Birth of Jesus. Oh, whoops, sorry, I hit the handle. Birth of Jesus. So yeah, this was an old tree, and there is a sign right here, and it talks about it was about 2,200 years old. So the general trail is, you can see it's about 15 feet wide. They want you to stay on the trail. And then, like, here's another humongous grouping of redwoods. And this is number 2. We just passed a sign that had a number 1. And then, just like earlier, how I mentioned it, it is so quiet out here. Like, there's very little, like, non-ambient sound or non-natural sound.
Hey guys, once you get in there, you can stand up in there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so old. So I've got my flashlight out so we can try and see. That is amazing. Yeah. It's so cool.
A bear would love to live in here too.
A bear would love to live in here.
But sorry, bears, you can't go in here.
Wow. And so there's the kind of the entrance that we came in through. All right, this one is a tunnel tree, and allegedly Declan is going to pop out of here in just a moment. There he is. Was it cool in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really, really difficult to see, and unfortunately I don't have my zoom lens, but right over here are a pair of deer. There's at least 2. There might be more. Oh, yep, I can see some movement over here through the trees as well. So here's a better angle. You can see it right here, that dark spot. Again, I don't know what it's going to look like on the actual screen, on my little tiny, like 2-inch LCD screen. I can see the dot, but it's just sitting there and foraging. All right, so we just finished day 3 out and about Santa Cruz. It's 5:30 in the afternoon, and we're just starting our trek back down to SoCal. We're not gonna get home until probably 1 or 2 in the morning. We already know that. So unfortunately, most of the drive back's all gonna be in the dark. We've got about an hour left of daylight probably, but I'll still film what we can, and we'll talk about the stations we stop at as we did on the way up. And hopefully, luckily to you, a snap of the finger, we're gonna be home. It's gonna be a long trip for us, so let's keep this trip rolling.
I know my mom taught me that. I figured why we fool around so little, and we keep track of time, being so serious, idiots, thinking it will matter. keep me company downtown before the clock runs out. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, wake up.
All right, so on this leg of it, we got 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour. It does look like leaving here, we'll have a tailwind a little bit of the way, so it should be a little more efficient. And we drove 118 miles, so just a real quick charge here because we only have about an hour to our next stop. All right, we're heading out of this station, and we've got 185 estimated miles on the range. And the next station's 125 miles away, which is actually the same as the first stop on the trip up north. So we'll be there in about 2 hours. I'm going to do some quick mental math here, and it would be about a 60 miles estimated range. Now, I think it's net downhill and a tailwind, so we'll see. I'm curious if we're actually going to get there with more than it thinks we should right now. So, here we go.
Because I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, not yet. Whoa, no, not yet. Whoa, no, not yet. Whoa, I'm afraid I'll end up nowhere. They keep saying I'll be fine, but how you know that I'll be there? When it feels like I'm lying every time someone asks how it goes. Something. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you.
All right, so we just got here, and 33 miles of estimated range left. So a little less, almost half as much as it predicted. We're at 14% now. And we were 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour for 122 miles, all freeway driving the entire time for an hour 46. So not the most efficient drive. So now we're going to plug in. We'll be here for a little bit because this should be our last stop until we get home. It is 46 degrees and probably going to continue to drop. We're not running the heat or anything as it gets foggy here. We just kind of put the window down for a second. We've got the seat heaters going to try and help a little bit, but if we were running the heat, it would have been even less and maybe possibly not even made it here. All right, so we got it plugged in, initiating charge. We can hear it already coming on, much quicker than last time. We're actually parked, there's an Ioniq 5 here charging as well. Just waiting for it. You can see it's 9:55 p.m. right now. And we got a solid 2-hour drive from here. All right. Oh, yes. 124 kilowatts. That's a good speed right now. All right. So we made a last minute change. We decided to only charge it up to about 74%. Estimated range of 170. And we'll add in one more quick stop in Valencia. So we got about 70 miles or so to go. So that way we can get there, cut our time shorter here, and then cut it short there to hopefully maximize time, and then we can get home a little bit quicker, hopefully. So, yep, just pretty much an hour to get there. right, so this quick little leg, 74 miles, just over an hour, 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour at the lowest, which was at the very top of the hill before we started back down the Grapevine. It got down to 1.8 miles per kilowatt hour, and we have estimated 105 miles left, so almost exactly what it worked out to be. Of course, we had 75 miles at the lowest point of miles at the highest point of the hill, and then we gained back an estimated 30 miles on the gauge from the top of the hill to this charger here. So this should be a real quick stop. Just put a few more miles on the car and then head home. All right, we are plugged in and charging, and it's at 81 kilowatts right now, which makes sense because we are at 37% versus last time we started much lower. So just a few minutes and then we'll hit the road. All right, we charged up to 59%, estimated 142 miles of range. We still have some of the Grapevine to go down. It's only about 90 miles left to go, so we'll see what we have when we get there. All right, we just pulled in, got 16% left on the battery, and we went 95 miles. We've got 35 left on the estimated range, hour 32, and 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour. Generally speaking, every leg was right around 3.0, give or take, a couple decimals. All right, well, this wraps up a really long 3 days of a road trip. Generally speaking, it was a really enjoyable car to have on a road trip. The seats are very comfortable as opposed to our Model 3. Of course, it drives great, it's great efficiency, but long range, the seats for the Tesla are not great. We do not enjoy taking that on long road trips, but these seats have been fantastic. The massaging feature, certainly helps to it. But other than that, it was a nice little introduction to a road trip for this vehicle. We'd like to probably take it on some longer trips as the infrastructure grows for non-Tesla EVs. But we hope you enjoy this video. If so, please give us that thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, please be kind and be real, and join us on our next experience.